they're not providing any navy at all. They're just kind of sending stuff, right? Come in, guys. Come here. Join in. Join in. We're talking about the age of war that's happening now. You know, there's many wars.
Good way of telling it. The age of war.
I mean, kind of. There's new wars starting, all the time at this point, and they're not just ending like that. They're starting and they're continuing.
War is back in Europe. War is back in the Middle East.
Yeah.
Soon,
Maybe Asia, Caucasus.
Caucasus,
Central Asia also, if you could argue, Armenia and.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Although that got settled too quickly.
Yeah, it's just done.
But I feel like it could come back because Nagorno-Karabakh, like it existed for so long, and then like that click gone.
What is that?
Nagorno-Karabakh is the enclave region of Armenians inside of Azerbaijan. Yeah.
And they just took it like that. After so many years, it was a republic. So I don't know. Armenians in 2 weeks will respond now anyway.
I think the most interesting part will be how Israel and Palestine will affect Ukraine now, which is quite interesting. It's just shift of attention, because you know the attention hasn't been going to the Middle East for a while after. So like all the global attention was on the Middle East in the beginning of the 21st century, especially with Iraq, Afghanistan, all of that, and then it stopped for a while. And then last year everything went to Ukraine, and now you have both of them, which will be crazy. Like how the world is going to cope with two major crises, and they're both old crises that are reincarnated every once in a while. You know?
I was reading the Americans want to do like a one-off payment to Ukraine, 100 billion, like just get it all done with by the next election.
Yeah, very possible.
Yeah, but we'll see.
I think there needs to be a big push into helping Ukraine. And with that, you know, it's kind of like the analogy to a trickle and to a flood. You know, for example, if you have a tap trickling water on top of a sheet of paper, it's not going to break through it, it's just going to slide through it. But if you have the tap just open and it's going to cut through, right?
Yeah.
So I think if they send a lot of help at once, you know, a lot of good help, a lot of important stuff, it could potentially give the Russian military
The big thing is planes they need.
Yeah.
Once the planes come, I think then once they come in a big enough capacity to knock the Russian planes out, because right now you can't, like, it's impossible to conduct like a modern offensive without air force. Like all these people are complaining about Ukraine's slow progress. You know, they're fighting an army that has a huge air force. How are you supposed to cope with that?
And it will take time for Ukrainians to know how to use them as well.
Yeah.
To train pilots, to train also the how we call it, like when they prepare the airplanes, you know, they need like every week, every month.
And also
runways, everything, air bases. It's something that takes time. But I do think personally that there's some reasons behind the delay, and I think the West is not ready to have Ukraine win the war fully. I was talking to him earlier.
That's what I'm fearing at this point. This seems to be a very silly mistake to make, to not provide Ukraine with what they need to win. It seems like the West is still afraid of escalating because they might be afraid still of the nuclear threat. But
I don't think it's a nuclear. I think they're just scared of what will happen to Russia
Because of the nuclear.
Yeah, no.